Hey guys, I hope that I'm live right now. If you are able to watch me and listen to me properly, then please let me know in the live chat and then we'll get started in just 2 minutes. There's a lot that we have to cover today in Bootstraps, so we'll get started right away. I'm so sorry, yesterday, due to some work, the yesterday's class was cancelled. So today and tomorrow we'll be having the sixth and seventh day. Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening. It's great to see everyone back again. We'll be starting in just 2 minutes, guys. Okay, great. I'm audible as well as visible. That's great. That's great. Okay. Does anyone know when does the offer in ShapeAI end for the 2.5 months internship? Vivin, the offer, so for the 25th batch, that is going to start from tomorrow for data analyst. That is going to start from tomorrow, day after tomorrow, that is 25th. So today and tomorrow is the last day for enrolling. And for the first June batch, so again, that is also something that is for web development. So 31st will be the last day. Okay. You cannot see me. Tushar, just increase the quality of the video. You'll be able to see. Do you have any idea about starting Linux and Unix bootcamp? Currently, no. Currently, we are planning forward with a React.js bootcamp, a machine learning bootcamp, then a deep learning bootcamp. Then we'll be having one more related to like Node.js, most probably. Then we'll be having like one more related to Flutter or something like that. I'm currently debating about whether to go with Dart or Kotlin for Flutter. We'll be having moving forward, we'll be having cybersecurity boot camps by Harsh Akshit. So he's basically from Google. So yeah, you will be having that as well. So we are currently like planning a lot of different things. Yeah. That's great, Keshav. I hope that we were able to give you guys some understanding about the entire thing as well. Please arrange a bootcamp on Photoshop. We'll surely take your feedback. Okay, we surely like to take feedback from students, and we will surely plan about that as well. What should we do? Django, React, Node. See, if you are going further with like a full stack web developer, then select the MERN stack. Okay, MERN stack basically is MERN. MongoDB, Express, React, and Node.js. Just for the entire like building the entire thing up, then go with REST frameworks. Okay, Node.js, like whatever the like Express you are developing the backend, go with the REST framework. And then at the end of the entire thing, go with deployment using AWS. That is one of the most preferred manner of deployment, and orchestration using DevOps. So learn CI/CD. That basically tells the entire company that you know the production level stuff. So CI/CD, then Dockerization, Kubernetes. Then go with like some Jenkins or something like that for CI/CD. We use Jenkins right over here at ShapeAI. Many people use that. Okay. What exactly is prototyping? How is it used in web development? Today we are going to discuss about UI UX. Today we are going to discuss upon prototyping as well. Okay, so don't worry about the same. Are you going to do another batch for full stack development? Please no, so that I will join it. So for full stack development, currently we are having two batches. One is going to start from the 1st of June, and the second one is going to start from the 1st of July. What is deployment? Okay, so basically whenever you are developing a particular website, you will be developing on your local host, that is on your local laptop itself. Nobody is going to access your website except you. That is called as local deployment. Global deployment basically means that you're deploying it on the cloud, like for example AWS or GCP or like something like that. You can even use, like, I rarely tell people to use it, but there are so many. DigitalOcean, you can use Azure. So the various different platforms are available. You deploy it right over there so that anyone and everyone from the entire globe can access and use your website. Okay. What about certificates? So certificates are usually sent 1 to 2 weeks after bootcamp ends. There's a lot of different processes that we have to do. Okay, because internally ShapeAI can just like make the websites and ship it to you, but that is just not possible. We have to talk to first like Google. We need to sort out everything. We need to show them that okay, these are the projects that have been submitted by the students. So see, whenever two companies are actually talking to each other, it takes a lot of time. So please try to like understand that. Okay. So what happened yesterday? See, yesterday I had some work from office, and then I had some like prior commitments to the family members. So hence I had to cancel yesterday's class, but no problem. We will be doing it today and tomorrow. No, we will be using GitHub. Okay. Usually the AWS certificates is given 2 weeks after the entire like boot camp ends. Why repeating same type of boot camp? Because see, in India there are more than 5 million people who want to learn technology, and only 10,000 students came to that particular boot camp. Out of that, only 3,000 students attended the boot camp. That means there is almost 4 million, like almost 5 million again, people who have not attended that particular boot camp. So we need to like repeat some boot camps from time to time, so that more students are able to, who missed the first boot camp, are able to like visit it once again. What is the last date for the offer for July 1st? For July 1st, it will be 31st. Again, I'm saying there are limited number of seats available in each batch. So if the batch gets filled before that, then there will be nothing that we can do. But yes, 31st will be the last. Okay. Currently, there are no other batches except June and July. Okay. Okay. So is ShapeAI providing robotics courses? Currently, we do not provide any courses. We only provide training and internship. But yes, we have taken a feedback from many students that they want IoT and robotics industrial training and internship. Currently, we are talking with many people from Microsoft who will be taking the internship. So we are still talking about them. So let us see if that goes on right. Then we'll be having most probably IoT and robotics entire training and internship from August, after August itself. Currently, we do not have any like plans to organize boot camps on UX designing, but we will surely take that into account as well. Okay. Cyber security, yeah. Okay. So can you conduct on UI UX? We are surely taking that into account, but like currently we do not have any plan for that. C++ course, Nishtha Patel. So we have like C++ is something that is important no matter which program that you take, whether you go for data analyst, whether you go for like mobile application development, whether you go for full stack web development, anything that you take. C++, data structures and algorithms, and competitive programming is the core essential aspect that you have to learn. So we provide that to the students, okay, for every batch. Like we do not do something like, okay, you want to learn C++, you have to pay me this much. You want to learn data structure algorithms, pay me more. You want to learn machine learning on top of that, pay me extra cash. We only have programs that are catered towards placements. So we have just one program that will teach every single thing, from C++, data structure algorithms, machine learning, deep learning, data analytic process, every single thing, from interview preparation, GitHub, LinkedIn optimization, mock interviews, how to sit for an interview. Everything is covered in just one program itself. When will be the next full stack development class going to be conducted after July? Vedant, we do not know that as of this particular moment. We only conduct training and internship if we have got the right instructors. So whenever we get the right instructor, we will have it once again. Okay. Okay, so let us get started. When will I get reply? I'm so sorry. So many people have reached out to me on my WhatsApp number, but like I said yesterday, I had some prior commitments, so I was not able to cater to them properly. Tonight after 12, I'll be sitting and answering all the questions on my WhatsApp number. Whatever questions have arrived till this point of time, I will surely answer them by tonight. I'm so sorry for the delay that has been caused due to like my prior commitments, but surely all the answers will be given to you tonight itself. I'm so sorry for that. Okay. No, it is just full stack web development, not mobile application development. Although we are planning for a mobile application development totally separately from the full stack development, we are still planning upon that. We have not yet included in this. Okay. No, the boot camps will continue at any point of time. Okay, we are never going to stop conducting boot camps. So my voice is slow. Just let me check. The voice is almost like hitting the red portion and the orange portion. So I think so the voice is absolutely fine. Okay, so let us get started, guys. Bootstrap is really very tough. You need to understand it. There's a lot that you have to figure it out in that. So let us get started with Bootstrap. Okay, so can someone let me know who founded Bootstrap? Like, okay, so let us first start by asking what is Bootstrap. So Bootstrap is a front end library. Okay, so just think about it in such a way that you need to create like navbar. So what is a navbar? This particular purple border that you are able to see, this entire purple border at the top of the entire thing, entire website, it's called as a navbar. Okay, you are having navbars, you are having different buttons on your screen, you are having some text on your screen, you're having some images on your screen, you're having various different things that you want to put on your screen. So coding this from scratch, like you have to start by writing the HTML, then you have to figure out the entire design and everything, then you have to write the CSS for the entire thing from zero. Okay, there is no CSS on your screen, then you have to write the CSS, like okay, this should be the color, this should be the heading, this should be the width of everything, this should be the space between everything. So there is so much CSS that you have to do. Usually when you are writing CSS, it's like 1000 lines of code at the bare minimum for even a very simple project, and you do not want that. You do not want to waste your time doing something that is very redundant. So Twitter in its early days, I'm talking about Twitter, the company. Okay, Twitter in its very early days devised a framework, a set of tools that you could just use and then manipulate to make your entire website. Okay, so basically what I mean by that is, so for example, if I want a navbar, okay, so there will be a default navbar. Okay, there will be a default navbar that just I have to just copy and paste it right over there, and within 2 seconds the navbar is right there on my screen. Within 2 seconds, like literally, I will just show you guys, like within 2 seconds your navbar will be on your screen with all the colors, all the functionality, every single thing that you want. And then for example, you just want to change the color, you want to change the text, you want to add a particular image to the navbar. So all these different things, then you can just manipulate on your own. You can do the little bit tweaking. So for example, how can I make you guys understand via a real life example? Let us think about this in example of okay, so think about what is something that can be manipulated? Uh, okay, so many people in their childhood must have played with toys that come like pre-built toys itself. Okay, you get the toy. Now you just have to like, for example, how can I say, Beyblades. Okay, Beyblades was something that was very famous when we were children. Okay, like if someone does that rotating top, B-B-L-A-Y, Blade. I literally like these things. If you guys remember the spinning tops, so these Beyblades became very, very, very like. Do you accept connection requests on LinkedIn? I'm so sorry. I have like 1000 pending connection requests on LinkedIn. Whenever I'm getting time, I will surely request everything. I'm so sorry. Okay, so Beyblade. So in your childhood, you must have got these like amazing toys that everyone used to play with. And what was special about them was like you could buy two Beyblades together, and then you could take out the components. So there was one top in the, like a screw in the middle. You can just take out the screw. There are 3 to 4 parts of a particular Beyblade, and then you can cross match, like to take two Beyblades, have the bottom of one Beyblade, top of the another Beyblade, the metal rim of some other Beyblade, and so on and so forth. So that's the main thing that I'm trying to make you guys understand. Okay, so these things, like the things that you can change about the Beyblade, is very simple. You can change the Beyblade very easily in like in a matter of seconds actually. So that is the main thing. You take two things together, you like just mix them up, do your own thing upon that particular thing, and you got your new Beyblade, a new website. So think of the websites as the same thing. You're having different components that these frameworks, for example, this library, Bootstrap front-end library, has provided to you with navbars. It has provided to you every single thing. Okay, like whatever you can think of, from like accordions, like you're having your FAQs. Basically, click on it and then it expands, and then the question ka answer. There's the answer of the entire question itself. So all these different things, buttons, you are having various different icons on your screen, you are having like call to action, CTA, and many different things that are present right over there. So all these things have been provided to you by default via Bootstrap. You just have to use it. Okay, you just have to copy paste it. Your entire website is, the framework of your entire website is just built in like 10 seconds, in like 10 minutes. Your entire website, a framework has been built, and then you just have to change the colors, you just have to change some properties of the entire thing to make your very own website. Tomorrow what we are going to do, tomorrow we are going to do like a website from scratch. we'll be making a prototype for Shape AI. Okay, Shape AI's website, we want to build a new startup website. Okay, we will be doing it from scratch. We'll be first wire designing the entire thing. We'll then like prototype the entire thing. We'll have a prototype, and then on the base of the prototype, we'll be using Bootstrap. Okay, to first make the entire skeleton for the entire thing. Okay, just using the default Bootstrap methods, default Bootstrap containers, and then we will be like changing the colors, changing the patterns, changing the different things so that it is more suited to our needs. Okay, are you guys able to understand what I'm trying to say? No, it is never good to use Bootstrap a lot. Whenever you want to make the first iteration of your website very easily, okay, that is called as MVP. When you are going into a startup, it's called as the most viable product. Okay, minimum viable product. Sorry, minimal viable product. What does that mean? It is the first iteration of your product itself. So when you are making the first iteration of your website, use Bootstrap. It will make your life very easy, and you will be able to make it like in a matter of like minutes, in a matter of hours itself. The many different front-end libraries we'll be discussing there about that at the end of the entire thing. But I want to understand whether you guys have understood up till this particular point of time or not. Well, this is very important to understand. No, WordPress is totally different. WordPress is, if you are using WordPress, you are not a developer. If someone tells you that I'm a WordPress developer, just tell to him that you are just using WordPress. That's it. It's like saying that I'm using Notion to like, I'm using the notebook to write my diary. So I am a writer. Like I'm a novelist. You're using a diary to write your like a paragraph. You are not a writer. You're not like a novelist or something like that. That's the main thing. Okay. Every student that is getting enrolled in the entire like full stack development or data analyst training and internships are guaranteed. As the name suggests, internship is in the name, so you do not have to worry about it. We'll be designing a website ourselves from scratch. No, we'll be using a prototype that will be given to us by the UI UX designer. Like that is just me right now. So I will be giving a prototype. We'll be doing it live. The project will be done live on the screen right over here in this, like in the tomorrow's video, not in this video, in tomorrow's video. And then you just have to make the same thing by you watching the website, like watching the video on your own. Okay, but we'll be doing it from scratch in the video itself, so you do not have to think about it. Oh, I'm getting older and older, I think so. By like it's hurting. Okay, so that's great. Okay, so you guys are able to understand up to this point of time what is Bootstrap and everything. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, Bootstrap was made originally by Twitter. Okay, later on they made it public. Okay, now it is available for every single one to use. It is very easily accessible as well, and now it is handled by the community of developers. Okay, so not just from like the people from Twitter, but also for the community is actually changing Bootstrap. Currently, Bootstrap is at its version 5. Okay, so we will be using the version 5.0 for Bootstrap. I will also suggest to go forward with the latest version, that is 5. Okay. Okay. Okay, so let us get started with the entire thing. So we have already discussed about Bootstrap and everything. Okay, now what we want to do is that we want to just get started with using Bootstrap first of all. So how to like have the Bootstrap in your website? So first of all, let's create a REPL notebook. Okay, let's create a REPL notebook right over here, and we'll be creating a new REPL. Let us have a HTML, CSS, and JavaScript REPL right over here. We'll now see how can we use this particular like Bootstrap, okay, to do various things that we want to do usually whenever we are making a website. Okay, so we'll be looking at all the different things that we can do with this, and then we'll getting started with it. Okay, some of the common topics that I want you to understand before that are some words that are very important for you to know. So whenever you are starting to build a particular website, okay, so the entire like website designing process, the how you build a particular website, you need to understand that. Okay, no, there is no license key or something like that. You can directly do it. It's open source. Okay, so again, how to start building a website? First of all, you are the particular like person who is going to build the website. Okay, I will just like, this is you, and this is the client. Okay, this is the client that you are having. So first of all, you will sit down with the client. Okay, you will sit down with the client and discuss the entire thing. You will write down that, okay, so you want like a front page, and then the front page you want the entire product to be showcased, just like he will give you like, I want the entire website to look like Apple's website or something like that. You will try to explain it to him that you are selling diapers, like we cannot have a floating diaper on the screen and all this kind of stuff. So you'll just talk to the particular person. You will give them some ideas on how you should be designing different stuffs, be showing different ideas to them. So one of the best ways to show different ideas to them is basically using Dribbble. Okay, so Dribbble is basically an open community of various UI UX developers, okay, who have made some very awesome okay, so I have to sign in. Okay, so like, just like try to understand this, that basically it's a very good community of people like UI UX designers who have actually made this. And there are various different websites that you are able to see on your screen. So for example, this is a good example of a website. This is not a website, basically this just like made in Photoshop or like Figma. Like it's just a prototype. Okay, this is called as a prototype. It's just an image. Okay, it's nothing else. It's not a website, it's not a proper website, it's just an image. But you are able to get some ideas. You are able to get some ideas from this, so that like you are able to get like which are the colors that they have used and everything. You can get some idea from the entire image. You can take up some inspiration from these things that the people have made. So there are various very good people who have made like this. It's not more like a template, because template is something that you can use, but these are more like just to get ideas. Okay, you'll showcase this to your potential client. You'll talk to them that, okay, this is what it should look like and everything. Now once you have jotted all the points, all the main points that the particular client wants from you, then you will do wireframe. What does wireframe means? This is the first step towards making the website. You take a notebook. Okay, you take a notebook and you draw the entire website on that particular notebook. So for example, on the left hand page you are having the landing page on the entire website, so you will have a nav bar. So let us just draw a particular wireframe. How does a usual like a wireframe looks like? So you are having this particular page. Think of this as the page of a notebook. So you are just drawing this, and then you will be having a nav bar right over here. You will have an image, so shape AI, and then you will be having some like home, and then like about us, and then like uh, contact us or something like that, a call to action button right over here. Then you will be having some image, so you want to showcase that, okay, what is that shape AI is providing. So you'll be having some kind of like bold text on the left hand side. So for example, best training and internships by top industry leaders. Okay, so you will have something like in very caps. Okay, so you can just write something down right over here. Then you will have some like smaller like subtitle to this that you want to showcase right over here. You will have a particular picture. Okay, so for denoting a picture you can just write something like this. Okay, just like you are just making the entire thing using a pencil and a paper right over here. Then like learn from people at, then you will be having all the logos. So again, the logos can be represented by just like boxes right over here. So you are just making a particular, this is called as wireframing. Okay, the entire website. It's not it's not the final product. It's not even like you are just testing different ideas, so that these ideas can be shown to the client. Like you will be making like 10 to 15 different wireframes from the same page. For the same page, you will be making 15 different wireframes. You'll be taking it to the clients, okay, and discussing it with them that this is how the website will look like. To make the entire website, it requires a lot of time and dedication. You cannot just directly go and building 15 different websites and show it to the clients. It will waste a lot of time on your behalf. And freelancing, or even for the, like companies, time is essence, time is money. So you use these type of wireframes to get some concepts to the particular person, so that you have some idea about how to do it. Once he has agreed that, okay, this is a good example, okay, this is a good example, let's move forward with this, then you will make the prototype. So now you have done with the first like two steps. First step was discuss, second step was wireframe, okay, and the third step is basically prototyping. Again, still now no code, you haven't written a single line of code in this step as well. There is no code whatsoever. Okay, in prototyping you will be making something like this. Okay, you will be making something like this. It is very close to how the actual website is going to look like. It will have some animations, it will have, but it is not a proper website, it's just an image. Like photo editing, you can use photo like Adobe Photoshop, you can use Photoshop to build this particular website, like a picture of the website, how should the website look like. You can use Figma, you can use Sketch, you can use Adobe XD. So there are so many different tools available to you for prototyping these websites. Again, till now this step as well, you are just making an image of how the website will look like. This is not a website, this is just an image on how the website will look like. So you'll prototype different things so that you guys are able to discuss. You will show it to the clients, tell them that okay, what are the changes that you want in this particular website. So if, for example, this is the like a prototype that you showed to the person, that okay, this will be your landing page, this will how it look like. You'll create mock-ups, so how will it look like on your mobile phone, how will it look like on your desktop. So you will give these things to the client. Okay, the client will be like, okay, just let's change this particular color, or like this is not looking nice, the logo should be a little bit different, let's use the circular logo instead of the rectangular logo, and so on and so forth. Yes, prototyping is essential. Why prototyping is essential? Usually when you are working in a company, there will be a dedicated person for this. This is called as the UI UX design. So this is called as UI design, okay, where you are focusing upon how the website looks like. Now, for example, if I'm having this button right over here, okay, like button. So to test out with different people, so you will be testing the same design out with like tens and hundreds of people. Okay, so you will be able to see that okay, people are not able to figure out what is the use of this particular like button. Okay, this shouldn't be right over here, this should be just below the image, so that they have a feel of Instagram. Like people are familiar with Instagram, they are not familiar with your website. So where should the button be? Where should the like button be? Should it be on the image itself, so that the people are able to identify it with Instagram and use it much more appropriately? So all this interaction is basically the job of a UX designer. User experience, how is the experience of the user going to be in the entire website? That is the job of a UX designer. How the website is going to look like, that is the job of a UI designer. The job of a full stack web developer is to keep a track of all these different things, and we teach this in our full stack web development training and internship program, because as a freelancer you are a one-man army. You have to go and do every single thing from scratch. No one is going to help you out, there is no one else in your company, you are the only person doing this. So that's the main thing. Okay, so this is basically the type where you are going to do the UI. Okay, and the UX as well. You will formulate the mockup, you will give it to like 100 people to use, beta testers. They will tell you that okay, we were not able to understand something. You will take user feedback, and then you will like iterate upon the entire design. That is the basic job of a UX designer. Okay, how can we make animated pages? Again, Figma, Sketch, Adobe XD, these all platforms basically have various different tools that I can use to make even animated prototypes of websites. Okay, so I can even show you guys like the prototyping that we have done at Shape AI. If you want to see, do you want to see the prototyping that we have done at Shape AI? Can someone let me know? Like if you want, I can even show you like what is the different prototyping that we have done at Shape AI. Sandhya, I will surely try. Okay, like because like I cannot guarantee it, of course, but yeah. Okay, so I will just show you guys what we have done at Shape. Of course, it's not so beautiful. We are not good designers, but yeah, it's okay. Okay, so I'll just show you guys Figma. So we do most of the prototyping on Figma itself, but most people use Adobe XD, Figma, Sketch. Some people like some like primitive people from like 90 years ago use so, like other things as well. So this is the prototyping that we have done. Let me just open it to you. Like I'm opening it after a very long period of time. Okay, will prototyping be taught in the internship program? Yes, it will be taught in the entire internship program as well. Okay. So this is a prototype that we have made right over here. So this is basically like the entire website. So you are having the library. In library, we are going to have like different languages, different concepts that you will be able to learn in the entire thing. So like this is how the entire prototype will look like. So this will be the entire web page. So like learn Python programming, text-based lessons. So it will be like videos as well as text. So you will be able to learn Python and different introduction and everything. Then okay, so I don't care if some fonts were replaced. Then inside of the entire thing, it will look something like this. Okay, so the entire web page will look something like this. So you are having your how to get started with Python, easiest way to learn. You can go to the next one. So this is, as you are able to see, like this is also animated. So if I want to close this thing down, okay, I can close this thing down and see that how it is looking like at this particular point of time. I can just move this to the entire web page. I can just like do something. So this is not a website. This is just an animated concept of how the website would actually look like. Okay, so I can even go to like control flow or something like that. I can check different things. So let me just go to the next page. So all these different things that you're able to see. So this is just a prototyping of the entire thing, and this does not look like this when you're going forward with it. Let me just show to you guys as well how it actually looks like. When you do the prototyping, it will look something like this. Okay, yeah, it's cute. Like we go for a very minimalistic look so that like it just looks good. The current website that we are having, so we had done the prototyping of right over here. So the current website that you're able to see, shapeai.tech, the prototyping had happened right over here. So this is like add true value to your learning, learn from it. There are like courses and everything what the students have to say, choose your path. But this is something that we are currently developing. It will be released in August, I guess. So we are doing this right now. So we are still building the entire website and everything. So that's the main thing, as you are able to see from right over here. So like it will be looking like something like this. So shape editorials, you select language or a concept from right over here, learn Python programming. So this is basically the UI aspect of the entire thing. Okay, you are making a prototype of the entire website. Okay, so that is the final step once you have done with the prototyping. Okay, so I hope that you guys were able to get something from that. Because I wanted these topics to be very clear to you. You shouldn't be directly going off with a website itself. You should have some idea of what you are designing. Once you have finalized with a particular prototype that okay, this is the prototype that we are going to do, then comes your fourth part: develop, code. You will be coding a very like basic version of the entire website. Okay, you can use like bootstrap.css, you can use tailwind.css. So these are the different front end frameworks that are available to you just to make like the entire website in like just one day or something like that. You'll just use this just to get the website up and running so that you have some idea of like how the website will look like on the website itself. Once that has been done, you will then go with the production build. Okay, you will then go for the production build. The production build will of course be in React.js. Okay, you will be like having the React.js. You will then be going with various different topics as well. So that is what I'm trying to make you guys understand, that building a website is not an easy task. This is just for the front end. I'm not even discussed about the back end. The back end has its own like process that you have to follow. Just for the front end, this is the entire process that you need to follow to like build a normal website for a client or for a company. Okay, okay. So let us move forward with this. I hope that you guys were able to understand something from this, because this is very important for me. Are you guys able to understand something from this? Guys, please let me know. Guys, please let me know, because like feedback is very important from the children, because then only I am able to understand that whether you guys were able to get something from it or not. Amazing, guys, amazing. I hope that like this is something that many people do not know. Okay, so it's very important for you to like understand this. So the steps for backend web development, currently we need to go forward with the bootstrap one right now, but I will surely discuss it if we get a lot, like a little bit more time. I will surely discuss it with you, or else I will have a small session separately where I will just like tell you guys about that. Okay, okay, great, great. So let us move forward with bootstrap. So we have created a small REPL. Let me just open the website on a new screen. I will just close this off. I will just close this off as well. We'll just like make the entire thing larger. The code is very visible. Currently we do not want any CSS on the entire website, so removing that. We do not need any viewport. We do not need any JavaScript. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have an h1 element right over here that says okay, just let me like give a little bit space to my hand. I'm not able to type very well. Okay, so I'm just having an h1 element on my screen right now, nothing else. Okay, in that h1 element I'm going to write this is an a good bootcamp. Okay, so this is just like a normal website that I have made just with an H1 element, as you are able to see on my screen right now. So this is how the H1 element looks like as of this particular moment. Okay, this is a good bootcamp. But what happens when I use the Bootstrap? If I have Bootstrap in the entire web page, what will happen? This is a normal website. I've not yet used like any kind of CSS. I've just used the default H1. Okay, so can I use Notepad to create an animated web page? Yes, but that will take like generations to make that. Okay, so moving further, so to have the bootcamp in your entire like website, you just have to put this CSS in your website. That's it. This is CSS line. Okay, this is line that like links the entire CSS files for the Bootstrap. So Bootstrap is what? It is a front end CSS framework. Okay, it brings you all the things that you need to know for the CSS aspect of the entire website, okay, so that you do not have to write the CSS from scratch. So it is basically a CSS framework. You will just copy the entire thing, you will take it to the website, and there in the head, of course, the CSS, like the link tag that you put to like link the CSS files, is usually in the head itself. Since in the head you will paste the CSS link. Okay, that's it. You just go to Bootstrap, you go to documents, in documents you go to quick start, in quick start you just have the copy paste the style link in your head before all the other style sheets to load our CSS. You just take up a copy. Okay, you just take up a copy and you come up to right over here. Okay, and you can paste it right over here as well. So Neil Bhedkadria, we currently do not offer like discounts. Like we only have the 10% discount to the people who come to the bootcamp itself. But if you are interested for that, like if you want bulk discounts, we provide that. But that is only in the case when the like college is basically approaching us. If the college is approaching us and taking up like a particular batch in its entirety for all its students, then we provide discounts to that, because then we are getting bulk orders. We have to do everything special for the entire college itself. So only in that case we'll be able to provide more discounts. As you're able to understand, there's a lot of different things that goes behind the entire thing. Okay, so you are having the link on the entire thing, as you are able to see. So you have put up the link, you are rerunning the entire thing. So what is this? Okay, usually when we were putting up a style sheet, whenever we were putting up a style sheet, you were having the link and the href, you just specified the CSS file. You had the, like for example, what should have been right over here according to us up till what we have studied up till this particular point of time, is that it should have been bootstrap.css. That's it. It should have been bootstrap.css, just the CSS name of the CSS file. But this is something that is totally different. What is this CDN? What is this all different things that is currently there? We do not know that. We'll get back to this in 2 minutes. First of all, let us see what Bootstrap has brought changes to our entire website. So once we have rolled it, so this is the original website. This is a good boot camp. Okay, as you're able to see, this is how the website currently looks like. When I reload the entire page with Bootstrap added to it, this is how now the H1 elements look like. As you're able to see, there has been a lot of changes. The size has increased a bit for the H1 element. The like font of the entire thing has changed a little bit as well. So that's the main thing. Bootstrap has its own set of CSS files. In its CSS files, the H1 tag is its own set of CSS assigned to it. And those CSS gets applied to this particular tag, as you are able to see from right over here. Are you guys able to understand? Please let me know, guys. We'll discuss about responsive websites coming soon. Okay, first I need to go from the basics itself. Do not rush. There's a lot that we are going to do. Okay, do not worry about it. Please let me know if you are able to understand that we took in the entire CSS file, like the link that to install basically Bootstrap on our website. And then once we installed the Bootstrap on our website, I reloaded the website. The entire thing changed, as you are able to see. The entire thing changed. Okay, so that is what we are like. We will be creating a nav bar today using Bootstrap. If we are able to do it on time, if you guys stay with me, we'll be building a nav bar using Bootstrap. Okay, So what's the difference? The entire okay, so what's the difference? Let me just rerun this so that people are able to understand what's the difference. Okay, I'm rerunning the entire program without the bootstrap. Okay, so without the bootstrap, this is how the h1 elements look like. Okay, this is the font, this is the size. Now with the bootstrap, okay, now when I go with the bootstrap itself, so now I've run the bootstrap itself, I've installed the bootstrap once again, I'm rerunning the entire website, I'm reloading the entire website, you're able to see the entire font has changed. So some CSS attributes have been added by the bootstrap. Bootstrap has some default CSS values that changes the original CSS that was in your screen. Now we need to understand what is this CDN. Okay, what is this CDN? What does that mean? Okay, where is my CSS files? I'm not able to see. So when I'm going to the files, there's no CSS file right over here. This is the default CSS file that we were having. I can even delete it and it will run. I do not have any CSS files right over here. So where is this bootstrap coming in from? Okay, so that is a very good question and a very legit question. So those who's thought about this question, they are actually like, they will be a good front-end web developers. You need to be very curious about the entire thing. So where is this coming from? Basically what happens is you are having bootstrap, okay, being like the CSS files, okay, the bootstrap.css, the file itself, this is a set of files, this is a particular folder called the bootstrap, then there will be many different CSS files inside of it. So all this gets saved, okay, on various different servers, okay, on various different servers from around the globe. So CDN basically means, let us go and check CDN network. Okay, so let us see cloud, okay, some good animation that I'm able to get for you guys. Let me just see. Okay, if we are able to get some good animation or something like that so that you guys are able to understand. Let me go and check CDN network animation, not anime. Okay, let us just say motion UI CDN, CDN to create web designs. Okay, again this is also very bad. Cloudflare, let us look at that. Okay, so am I able to get something from right over here? No. So let us okay, so I'll just draw it for you guys. Okay, so there are various different servers around the globe. Okay, so for example, this is your entire earth. Okay, I'm just drawing the earth, and this is India right over here. Okay, so this is India right over here. So there will be various different servers around the globe. So one server is right over here, one server is right over here. Then when you go to Europe, right over here, you will be having like one server for UK, one server for Germany or something like that. When you are going to America, okay, so you are having your America right over here. I'm very bad with drawing, so just please bear with me. So you are having America right over here, so you will have multiple servers around the globe. So what happens is whenever the website is live, whenever your website has been pushed to the entire servers, you have deployed the entire website, so your website basically gets saved, gets cached to all these servers across the globe using CDN, okay, content delivery network, okay, CDN or content delivery network. So for example, if I am a particular person who lives in India, okay, and I go to shapeai.tech, okay, I go to shapeai.tech, I try to find it. Shapeai.tech will not be sent to me from my US servers. It will send to me from the nearest server that is present nearest to me. Okay, so for example, in Mumbai, I have the nearest CDN server. So CDN is basically a collection of different servers from across the globe. Based on your position, wherever you are situated in the entire world, the nearest server that is there, that will be sending you the entire website. Okay, you will be getting the website from that particular server itself. This basically decreases the latency. Okay, so the entire website will continuously buffer. If it is coming from US, there's a lot of distance that it has to travel to get to you. Whereas if it is coming from Mumbai, there is there's a less distance that it has to travel. So it basically results in less latency, and you are able to get the website loaded on your tablet or your mobile phone or your laptop very fast. So that is the main purpose of CDN, content delivery network. Similarly, the bootstrap files, okay, the bootstrap CSS files have been put up on across the servers. So there are various different CDN networks that are present. So for example, CDN basically can be of AWS. So you are having any AWS CDS, okay, CDN, okay. So if you are requesting for the bootstrap files, okay, this particular request, okay, this what we were having, this line of code basically https cdn js deliver.net npm bootstrap. So this entire line basically says that on the CDN, you are having this particular file. Whenever this web page gets loaded, bring the file from the nearest copy of Bootstrap CSS, bring in and load the entire web page with those files attached to it. So you are having your website, currently the website is on your local host. You are having the website on your laptop itself. This is a default website. We haven't hosted it anywhere. Okay. So we are having it on our local website. Okay. So once it is being loaded on your local laptop itself, simultaneously it is bringing in, it is it is downloading all the files from the bootstrap.css onto your computer, merging it with your HTML code and showing you the entire website. That is the process that is being followed. Okay, so the bootstrap files basically, so one more important concept is called as caching. Okay, this is a very important concept called as caching. So what happens is whenever you are bringing in Bootstrap is being used by thousands of websites from across the globe. Okay, many websites use Bootstrap in their day-to-day websites itself. So it may be possible that early on when you were visiting some website, it was actually using Bootstrap and you've already got a copy of Bootstrap that gets cached in your local laptop. Okay, because you are actually whenever you are loading the entire website, you are downloading all the files. Now all the files, the Bootstrap files, the HTML files, the CSS files are on your laptop right now. Now your browser is very smart. It knows that Bootstrap is something that many websites are going to use. So what it will be doing is it will cache the entire Bootstrap files. Okay. It will cache the entire Bootstrap files in your local laptop itself or your local mobile phone itself. And that cached, so all the bootstrap.css files are now cached in your local laptop. That is, it is stored in your mobile phone itself. Once you have called it from the servers, it is stored in your local laptop itself. Now you are going to another website that basically uses Bootstrap. It is again having this particular call, that HTTPS, CDN and all those kind of stuff. So instead of bringing the Bootstrap back again from the nearest server, this time it will just use the cached Bootstrap files to load the entire web page. Okay, so it will not go to the server, bring the entire Bootstrap files to us and then use it. It will keep the entire thing in your local storage itself. When you're loading the new website, it will just take the Bootstrap files that have been cached in your mobile phone or in your laptop and show it to you guys on your screen. Okay, again, so that you do not have to download it again and again and again, but these files take time. There will be many different of CSS files in that particular Bootstrap file itself, so that will take a lot of time if you're doing it again and again. And see, data is these companies are very smart. Okay, they want to have the entire experience of using their browsers to be very fast. So this is something that has been implemented by the browser itself. So Safari has it, Google Chrome has it, the Internet Explorer had it. So that's the main thing. These are the features of the browser, what you are using. Okay, are you guys able to understand up to this point of time? Please let me know, guys. So whenever you are clearing the caches and the temporary files, so what will happen is whenever the HTML is able to see this particular line of code, okay, so instead of first of all it will check the cache. Does the Bootstrap files exist right over there? If it is not existing right over there, then it will bring the files back again from the servers. Okay, are you guys able to understand? Okay, great. So let's get started. Okay, so this was the basic that I wanted you guys to understand, because again after that you will not be able to get anything. So once we are done with this, now we are going to go with writing the first line of code, getting started with Bootstrap in its entirety. Okay, that's why we are here. So okay, let's get started. First of all, we want a navbar. What we want to make is basically a navbar itself. Now again I'm saying we are going to just start with some of the basic things. Bootstrap, one of the best things with Bootstrap is when you're going to their website, you can go to the docs. Okay, just click on docs on their website, go down below there will be a like getting started. Okay, on the left hand side, getting started, customize layout, content, forms, components. You want to go to components. Okay, and then in the components itself you are having various different options. So you're having accordions, alerts, badge, breadcrumbs, buttons, button group, card, carousel, close button, collapse, drops down, list group, model, nav, and tabs. You want to go to nav bar. Okay, you want to make a nav bar right over here, so we'll be going to the nav bar section. Okay, so right over here you will be able to see that nav bars are basically made for you. You do not have to made it from scratch, but we will be like looking into it. So just to make a nav bar, if I want to have a nav bar immediately on my screen, what I will be doing is I will go to Bootstrap, I will go to docs, I will go to components, I will select nav bar, and right over from there I will just scroll down, I will just copy the entire code, I will come back to my REPL, I will put the entire code right over here without even thinking about it. I will just arrange the entire thing so that everything is very properly laid out. So I will just tap it twice. Okay, so I have maintained the entire hierarchy as well. I just pasted the entire code. I just went to the Bootstrap, just copied the entire thing. So there's a proper button called as copy. You can just like copy it, the entire code. Once you have copied the entire code, you will come back to your REPL. You will just paste it in between the body, because of course the body contains the nav bar. You will be running this particular line of code, and then you will just go to your website, reload your page, and there it is. Okay, the entire nav bar is right over there on your screen. It took less than 2 seconds to have the nav bar on your screen. Less than 2 seconds. I have not written a single line of code. It took me less than 2 seconds to have the nav bar on my screen. Now, what is responsive website? So this is also something that I'm getting a lot of questions about. What is a responsive website? The term responsiveness is usually very misleading. A responsive website, you will think that okay, it's very fast. Like if I'm clicking on a button, it's like showing me the results immediately. So that would be like responsive. No, that's not it. Responsive website means that whenever you shift from your laptop to a mobile phone, so a mobile phone has a separate like type. Okay, the mobile phone has a separate window size, it has a separate like width, it has a separate height. Okay, so all these things are very different for a mobile phone. When you go to a tablet, it will have another height, another width. If you are going for a different type of laptop, so 16:9 or like a 3:2 laptop, so all these have different width and heights associated with it. Your website should look equally nice on a mobile phone, it should equally look nice on a like laptop, it should equally look nice on a tablet, it should equally look nice on a desktop as well. So that is the major thing that you need to understand moving further with like that is basically called as responsive website. That no matter which device I'm using, your website looks the exact same to me. Like I am able to use your website very clearly. It shouldn't be like when I'm shifting to like the mobile phone, everything is getting started. The button is somewhere else. The like picture is going out of the entire screen or something like that. So right over here, if I'm going to this little nav bar, if I'm changing the entire screen for like the normal screen to like coming to a particular mobile phone like a thing, so you're able to see that all the different things. So when I'm on the normal screen, you're having your home, you're having a link, you're having a drop down right over here, having a disabled option, you're having a search option, then click on search as well. So all these different things are right over there. When I'm going from the normal thing to a particular mobile view of the entire website, so let us think of this as the mobile view, as it is like a lot of thinner or something like that. So once I'm going to the like drop down option, okay, what happened right over here? It's not this should have worked. There's some problem right over here, I guess. I'll just reload the entire. Okay, so basically I think so that due to it being a part of the entire thing, REPL, that's why it's not working or something like that. So basically like the entire website should be responsive in nature. I don't know why it is not working. Maybe because it is on the REPL, that's why it is not working or something like that. Let us try something else. Let us not go to REPL. Let's go to CodePly. Okay, let's go to CodePly. Let us try out right over there as well, so that we are able to get some idea. So we'll go with Bootstrap 5, and in the Bootstrap 5 I will like to replace everything with in the HTML. So I want the HTML itself, and I will replace everything with the nav bar. and I will like take the entire thing to a smaller size right over here. Okay, so right over here the navbar is working. Okay, so that was a problem with, I guess, Ripple itself. So it was not working on Ripple. No matter, I've changed it to CodePly. So right over here I've done nothing. I'm having the like HTML files. Okay, so I'm having the HTML file right over here on the left hand side. I'll just scroll down the entire JavaScript portion. So you are having the HTML file right over here. I delete everything. I'm reloading the entire page. So you are able to see that there's nothing happening on the right hand side. I'm just pasting the entire like HTML portion, the nav bar section for the entire bootstrap. I'm rerunning the entire thing, and you are able to see that the nav bar. So currently I'm having, so this is the mobile view. Okay. So this is how it will look like in a mobile phone. So if I'm like clicking on the entire drop down, you are able to see that, okay, home, drop down, and the entire thing is working. So the drop down is also working right over here. If I'm going with a tablet option, so right over here, this is the tablet option. So the entire like thing is responsive. So in the mobile phone itself, everything looks nice. In the tablet itself, there's a drop down option, then home, link, drop down. So the drop down has the action 1, action 2, something else right over here, and then you have the search. And then when you're going to the laptop version, so like going for the laptop version right over here, it looks, the entire thing expands to the entire like website, and you are able to see it from right over here itself. Okay, so you are not able to see the entire thing. Yeah, so that's why like we'll be having the entire thing on CodePly. Okay, I will not be having the project on Ripple. I think so there is some problem with Ripple. They have not yet integrated it appropriately enough with Bootstrap. No matter what, CodePly is also a great platform to write your code on the browser itself. So you can do it from your mobile phone, you can do it from your tablets, you can do it from your TV as well. So there's no problem with that. So are you guys okay? What is the difference between Bootstrap and MongoDB? Bootstrap is your front end framework, okay, whereas MongoDB is your back end like database. Okay, it's the database. Like, is they saying that sky, and what is the difference between a sky and a motorbike? It's totally different. Okay, so there's nothing that I did. Okay, I go to the navbar section, okay, of Bootstrap. I copy the entire code from right over here. I come to my CodePly code. Okay, this is where I write my code. So this is how the entire website was looking like originally. There's nothing on the screen. So on the right hand side you are having your website, and on the left hand side you are having the code. On the code section, I'm just putting the entire thing up. I'm just pasting the code that I've copied. I've copied this code. I've just pasted it right over here. I will run this particular line. You are able to see on the right hand side we are having the website. This is like responsive in nature. So if I'm going to the like full screen type of thing, then it is coming to the entire nav bar we are able to see the entire nav bar right over here. You're having the logo, you are having home, link, then the drop down option as well. So there's a drop down option as well. Then you're having the search and the entire thing. Now if I'm not on my tablet, if I'm on my tablet itself, then on the tablet everything, so we are having the logo right over here, but we want the drop down, okay, so that it's very easy for everyone to see. So you're having the search right over here, the drop down right over here, and everything. Now once I'm going to the mobile view, okay, the mobile view again, like this, just this drop down, so everything is very like comfortable. So this is called as responsive, that everything does not go bonkers when I'm going from like the desktop view to the mobile view. Everything is very clean, everything is very crossover, everything is still working. That is the main concept of being responsive. Okay, so Bootstrap is basically a library. It's not a like module or something like that. It's called as a library basically. Okay, yes, Bootstrap will directly work on your Visual Studio. You do not have to worry about the same. On which interface can we heck whether our website is responsive or not? Just scroll it down, like your website. Like you can just like go from right over here to like your website. Just open the website on your mobile phone, or just do the size of the entire website like smaller or something like that. Okay, so basically again, like I'm trying to make you guys understand, Bootstrap is being used to, so Yelaji Bodho asked me a question that during interview, if they ask how you wrote the nav bar code without learning deep it, then how should we respond? So basically, Bootstrap is just for prototyping. Okay, so it's just for making the first iteration of the entire website to get it up and running. You basically use Bootstrap. After that, you have to code it from scratch. Again, you will never be using the same nav bar. You will be having different things in the nav bar. You will be having different colors in the nav bar. So all that you have to do it on your own. Okay. Yes, you can do the current project you can do on your mobile. Okay. Okay. So right now you guys are able to understand that this is so easy to create things in Bootstrap, but now we'll be making the entire navbar from scratch. Okay, just to get an idea of how like the Bootstrap actually works, like we'll be doing it from scratch. So first of all, when you are making a navbar, you will be having a nav section. Okay, you will be having a nav. So I think so I need to change the color. I don't know how to change the color of the entire thing, so let me just see. Okay, I need apply settings, bootstrap 5, this, privately enable, close. Need to change the color. Can I change the color? There's no option to change the color of the entire thing, so I think so. Are you guys able to see what code I'm writing right now? Are you guys able to see the code that I'm writing now right now, or like it's not at all visible? Can someone let me know? Are you guys able to see the code right now, or it is not at all visible to you? Okay, so let us get started with making the entire nav bar itself. Okay, so inside the nav bar you will be having your unordered list. Okay, basically you create your nav bar and then you have your unordered list inside of it. So nav bar basically says that okay, this is a nav bar. Okay, you know that this is a nav bar. Nav bar is the thing that comes on the top of it. So you have named it as nav bar. You're having your unordered list inside of it. Again, in the unordered list you will be having your list item that will basically be your contact. So for the first is contact me, then you will be having your about us page. So a b, so let us have another list item. So POUT about us and something like that. So a basic simple nav bar I'm creating right over here, nothing too fancy. Okay, I've not even started creating a nav bar. I've just made the structure of the nav bar in HTML. Okay, so I've just write the structure right over here. If I'm going to my website, I'm running this particular line of code, you'll be able to see that we are getting like contact me and then about us, just like two different UI elements right over here on my screen. But I do not want that. This is now how it should look like. It should be on a single line. There are so many different things that I want to do. I want to change the color of the entire thing. So this is now how it should look like. This is just a normal list. Okay, this is just an unordered list. There's nothing else to it, because that is what we have specified to it. Okay, whatever code that you will be writing, only that you will be able to see on your screen. So no problem, let us move further. What we'll be doing is we'll be starting with the class. Okay, so we'll start with the class of navbar. Okay, so navbar. So this is a class. Okay, every class that you will be using right over here is basically from your bootstrap CSS. Okay, so what is a class? The class, you had some like associated CSS in your CSS files. So right over here, the names that I'm using, that you will be getting yourself familiarized with. The more and more you use bootstrap, the more bootstrap that you use, you will be able to find what I'm like telling you right now. So the practice is the key. Okay, if you're not practicing, it won't be of any help to you. So I've just created a nav. Okay, I have put up the class as navbar. Then I will be having the ul. So ul also I will be having a class associated with it. So navbar nav is the class associated for a ul element. So class is equals to nav bar and then hyphen nav. Okay, so this is the class associated with the ul element according to bootstrap 5. Okay, you can go to their documentation. You can see that okay, the class for a nav is nav bar, the class for the ul. Okay, so ul is basically having nav bar nav right over here as its first class. So these are something that either you can go through the documentation, you can like research about it, or this comes from practice itself. It is not expected from you to learn it from by heart it from the day one itself, but this comes from practice. There is nothing, no other way for like writing code. It's all about practice itself. Okay, so you are having the class of the ul as navbar nav, and for the li we'll be having a class of the nav item. Okay, so as the name suggests, class is equals to nav item. Okay, what I'm writing right over here, item item. Okay, so you're having the class of the entire thing as li class is equals to nav item right over here. And similarly for about us as well, you will have the same class. Okay, because it is also a nav item, so you will have the save class right over here as well. We'll just run this particular line of code. Let us check how our entire thing actually looks right now. Okay, so let's go back to the entire thing, and you are able to see it's still in one line. It is still vertical in nature. It is still looking the exact same. We have not done anything else to it. The only thing that we have changed is basically now the dots are like gone. It has a little bit of like a structure to it, has a little bit different like font to it, has a little bit different size to it. And yeah, that's it. That's everything that I've done using these particular classes itself from Bootstrap. Okay, so now we need to like get it into a single line. We want it to be in a single line itself, so that is what we'll be focusing on right now. So what can be done for the entire thing? First of all, we need to have some kind of like, when you are going to a particular like contact me, it should have a particular link inside of it. Okay, so this contact me should be a link. Like I'm clicking on this, it should take me to a second page. So to implement that, of course, we'll be using the anchor tags. So the A tags that we have already discussed about. So for the anchor tags, so for inside of the li element, we'll be having the anchor tag. So we'll just put it into two lines. Okay, so that is just like looks pretty enough. And then for the contact me, we'll be having the entire thing in the anchor tag itself. Let's create an anchor tag right over here. Let us remove this last portion to encompass the contact me. So put the entire contact me into a anchor tag. Inside the anchor tag, we want to have the particular class associated with it with terms of Bootstrap. So for Bootstrap, it is basically the nav link. Okay, nav link, as you're able to see, because of course it's an anchor tag, it's a link, so it's a nav link. So the class would be nav link. Again, this is not something that you need to know from prior itself, because these all things come from like practice. These all things come from practice itself. Without practice, you will not be able to do this. Then once you have specified the class, you will have the href property. And the href property, currently we do not want it to like relocate to anything else, so just like a normal href without something inside of it. We have an empty href. The same thing we'll be putting about across about us as well. So about us, then your a closing a tag. Okay, and then putting the li to the next line. So we are having a class navbar. Okay, navbar. In the ul class, we are having a navbar nav. We are having the li class as nav item. We are having a class. So you are having your anchor tag as nav link right over here. So when we run this little line of code and go back to our website right over here, you are able to see that now the color has changed. And if I'm hovering over the entire thing, if I'm hovering over the entire contact me, you're able to see that the color is also changing. It is getting a little bit dark blue in color. Okay, the color is also changing when I'm hovering over it. It is getting a dark blue in color as well. Okay, so these all small CSS is basically the gift from the anchor tag. Okay, this is the property of the anchor tag itself. How does those dots get invisible? So the CSS that we used for the nav item and the UL and all those kind of stuff, so that CSS basically helped us to get rid of the entire thing. Okay, the CSS that we used right over here, so the class. Okay, each of these classes, the nav item, nav bar, nav, all these classes have different CSS associated with it in Bootstrap. Okay, so they have some default properties. Some of the default properties include removing the dots. That is what I have told you up till this point of time. Okay, the nav bar is something that you see on the top of a website. Okay, when you're going to this particular website, this entire thing on the top, okay, this particular thing is basically called as a nav bar. Okay, navigation bar itself, that is called as a nav bar. So now we have made the entire thing, but we have got a particular color as well to the text. Okay, it has some kind of like hover effect as well. But again, there is nothing. Okay, there is nothing, like it's not in the single line. It does not look like a nav bar up till this point of time. So we need to get that change. We need to change it. Okay, so I'm saying, sir, I'm a commerce student. I want to ask, good option for me to think about full stack development. See, if you are a commerce student and if you like doing everything together, then yes, you can. Like, it's about how much coding that you like. So it involves a lot of coding in full stack. Okay, that is something that I want you guys to understand. So now what we want to do is we want to take this entire thing from from two lines to a single line. I do not want it to be in two lines. I want the entire thing to be in a single line. And for that, what we are going to use is basically we are going to use navbar expand LG. Okay, navbar expand LG. Okay, I will just go over it as well. So nav class navbar will be adding another class to it. We can add two or more classes, just a little bit of space, and then we want to add the class navbar, then expand, and then LG. Okay, so what this will do is this will expand the entire thing for the website. Like this will take it from like two lines to a single line itself. So let us run this line. Of course, so we have added a new class to it. Okay, we have added a navbar class as well as a navbar expand LG class to it. So we'll just zoom out of it a little bit. We'll move it from this to like a laptop view, and then we will just run this little code. Okay, you will be able to see that the entire thing is now in just like the single line. Okay, the contact me and about us is in just a single line. Okay, but when I'm going from the laptop mode to like mobile view, it is again going in back into two lines. Okay, so that is because like whenever you are in a mobile phone, it may be possible that there's not enough gap to have the entire navbar in a single line. So maybe due to that you want it to be in two lines. So having 2 to 3 options. So there is like LG, there is okay, I'll just go back to Bootstrap so that I'm able to show to you guys right over here as well. Okay, so what are the different things? Let me find. Okay, so there is LG, there is like medium as well, and like there are 2 to 3 things. Okay, let me just see right over here. Okay, so there is MD for medium. Okay, for medium, that is for tablets as well if you want to change. Okay, if you want to have for tablets, so currently when you are going to tablet mode or like the normal mode as well, you are having everything in two lines. Whenever you are going beyond that, whenever you are going to a particular like large screen like a laptop or something like that, then you have the entire navbar in the same line. Now you want the entire thing to be in the same line for a tablet as well, so you will have it written right over here as MD. Okay, medium display. Okay, so for medium display as well, when I'm running this little code, be able to see that when I'm on your mobile phone, again it is not getting selected. When I'm going for a tablet, right over here itself, it gets shifted to a single line of code. Okay, so first of all, it was like whenever going for the entire screen that it was in the single line of code. Now even for a 50% display, I'm getting it in a single line of code itself. Whenever we are going beyond it, again it is like in two lines. Okay, we can even check that from right over here by changing it to like from MD to like there's one more property. I will have to search about it. Like I have not used it from quite a bit, so I think so it is like small. So let me just see right over here, and I find something related to small. Find MD. Okay, so we are having your MD, then we are having your SM. Okay, so for small it is basically SM. So going back to the entire thing, if I'm changing this to SM, okay, so that will basically be for, so I'm changing this thing from SM. Okay, so right over here you're able to see for navbar expand SM, that will be for smaller screens for your mobile phone as well. For like larger screen it will be LG, and from medium screens it will be MD. Okay, for medium screens it will be MD. So you're having your LG for large screens, so your MD for medium screens, and then your SM for small screens. Okay, so for small screens, if I'm going and if I'm running this particular code, you'll be able to see that for contact me gets changed right over here. Like less than 50% gets changed to like a single line of code. Again, when you're going to a little bit lower than that, you are having two lines. Okay, so that is the main thing that I'm trying to make you guys explain. Are you guys able to understand up till this point of time? Please let me know, guys. Please let me know, guys. Please let me know. I'm teaching it very basics. I'm not going into a lot of depth. Okay, I'm not going into like this is also this is also this. I'm just trying to make you guys understand the basics of the entire thing, so that even if like you guys want to build a website on your own, you can easily do that. Okay, great guys, great, amazing guys, amazing. So again, right now as well, I'm not able to see. So nav bar should look like a nav bar. It should be a bar. I should be able to see it. Currently, I'm not able to see anything. It's just like two words written in a single line. That's it. That's what I'm able to see. It should look like a bar. So how to do that? It's very simple actually. You will have in the nav class itself adding one more class. Okay, this class will be nav bar and we'll be having a particular color associated to it. Okay, so let's have the entire thing as nav bar light. So nav bar. Okay, let me just zoom in a bit. So nav bar and then light, light. That will basically tell the text to be light in color. So if I'm running this particular line of code, you will be able to see that when I'm running this particular line of code right now, you will be able to see that the text went from blue to light gray. Okay, are you able to see? It went from blue to light gray. Okay, so I'm having the nav bar light that basically took the text from like light blue to like light gray or something like that. Then I will add another class right over here. I will add another class to it. This will be bg light. That is background color. I want it to be light. Okay, I'm taking the background color to be light. I will just run this line of code, and now you are able to see the box. You are able to see the nav bar. It's like very light. Okay, the thing is very light, but you guys are able to see it right now. The entire nav bar you are able to see on your screen right now. Similarly, what we want to do from right over here is, if I do not want this color, I do not like this color, I want the nav bar to be red in color or something like that. Bootstrap has many different colors that has been given to us. So if we go to buttons, okay, you're able to see that for like blue color, you are having like primary color, for secondary for danger. So if you want to have like a red color, it is basically danger. So you will use danger as your like word in the code. So instead of having bg light, you want to have it as bg danger. That will give the entire like background color of the entire nav bar to be red, as you are able to see. Are you guys able to see this? The entire nav bar is now red in color. Okay, so that's the main thing that I'm trying to make you guys understand. So if I do not want a like red color, I want a like a light blue color. So let us take info. Okay, so we'll have info right over here instead of danger, and this will give us the light blue color to the entire nav bar. We're able to see that there's a lot of different things that we can do with the entire thing. Currently we have 15 more minutes. I just want to go through a little bit more things. If you guys want, we can end it right over here. Like, that is totally up to you. But like, if you want to continue with this, like trying to learn different things, so like please let me know, because many people are saying that we want to go or something like that. So just like, I want to know that what is the consensus of the entire class. Continue. That's great. So again, for example, right now we just have two links. Okay, we want a particular like logo as well in the entire nav bar. We want our logo, or we want to write some text as a logo. Like we want to write shape AI as a logo right over there. What to do? Let's go to nav bar. Okay, we'll go to components. We'll select nav bar right over here as well. Then in the nav bar, we'll scroll down. We'll scroll down, as you are able to see, and we want to have a particular text right over here. So for text, what we need to do is we can use the no, okay, where is it? We can use this particular element. Okay, nav bar brand. Okay, that is the main thing that we are going to use. Nav bar brand. So we want the entire like word to be clickable as well. We want to have the entire word as clickable as well. So we'll put it up as an A tag. Okay, we'll put it up as an A tag. Anchor tag. We'll have the class as nav bar brand. Nav bar nav bar. What was the spelling? Let me just check. brand brand. Okay, and do we want something else inside of it as this point of time? No, we just want this. Okay, so let us keep it as navbar band as well right over here, and let us just run this. You will be able to see that. Okay, I have not specified shape AI, so I just have to write shape AI as well, what we want to see right over there. Okay, so you're able to see that we have a particular logo as well right over here, and then contact me about us. As you're able to see, we have a particular logo in the nav bar right now, and then contact me and about us. Are you guys able to understand? The other teachers in the entire training are extremely well. You do not have to worry about the entire thing. Okay, we have personally trained them, and they have been with Shape AI for a very long period of time. Okay, so we have the nav bar brand as well. Now, if I want to have the shape AI look bold, okay, so again, I will go to nav bar. I will see that, okay, we are having two types. So we are having the normal thing, and then we are having the entire like bold aspect of the entire thing. The bold aspect will have the MB0 and H1. Okay, we'll just copy this from right over here from the class, and then we'll paste it to what we want to do. Okay, we'll just paste it right over here. So nav bar brand and then space, and then we will just paste it right over here. Okay, so when I'm running this little line of code, you will be able to see that shape AI is now a little bit bold and it just looks very appropriate enough. Okay, it looks very appropriate enough. Okay. Okay, so Dakshit Gaur, I think so. Like he has been a part of Shape AI. Like that's why he's saying. Oh, I don't know. Okay, so yeah, so that is the main thing that I'm trying to say to you guys. Now, like for example, I do not want the logo as well as the links to be on the same side. I want the logo to be on one side. I want the links to be on the other side of the entire nav bar. Yeah, I want it to be like something like this. I have to have the logo on the left hand side and contact me and about us on the right hand side of the nav bar. This is how usually like normal websites look like. So to do that, what can I do? Okay, so what we'll be doing is we'll be using another property of, again, like we want to do it, so we want to use another property of the same thing, that is ML auto. Okay, we'll just put up a class. Okay, inside the UL class itself, we will have ML space auto right over here. Okay, right over here we'll have, like in the class UL class itself, we'll be having ML auto auto. Okay, and once we'll be running the entire thing, you will be able to see that. Okay, so nothing happened. So what happened right over here? Did something wrong? Let me just check, guys. Let me just check. Okay. I think so I did something wrong right over here. Just let me get it, guys. Just give me a second. ML nav, ML auto. Did something wrong? Has it been changed in the like Bootstrap 5? Because like up till now I was using Bootstrap 4. So I guess this has been changed right over there. Let me just check it once with the navbar itself. Let us go to the UL. Okay, let us just check what it is writing in UL right now. So we are having me auto. Okay, so it is basically me auto, not ML auto. So in Bootstrap 5, it has been replaced to, I guess so, me auto instead of ML auto. So let us just run this again. It is not working, guys. Is not working. So what is happening right over here? Let us try to figure it out. ML band MB0H1. Let us just remove this. Let us check it once again. Okay, so this is also not working. Okay, so ME auto. So I've also checked ME auto once again, but I think so there is something wrong with this, I guess. Like it should have worked according to me, but it is not working. I also don't know what is the problem with this. Let us try to figure it out. I wanted to showcase this to you guys because this is something that is really very important, because ML initially it was ML auto, but I don't know for Bootstrap 5. I guess it has been changed, or like it is not working for this aspect itself. No, it is not working at all. Let us look at ML auto once again. Let us just run this. Let us change it to the entire screen or something like that. No, so it is not working. So no problem, I'll just look into it. I will tell you guys tomorrow. There's some bug right over here, I guess. So no matter what, I will just look into it. I will tell you guys tomorrow how to do that, because that is very important to have the like logo on the left hand side and the like links to the right hand side. That's something that's very important. I think so I've forgotten it how to do it. No problem that, like I will find the mistake. I'll get back to you tomorrow. I'm not like a professor. If I'm telling that I'll get back to you tomorrow, I will bring it. Okay, so MX auto, like I don't remember, like it was ML auto, MR auto, MX auto, something like that. It was something auto, I remember that, but like it has been a lot of time. Okay, it is MX auto. That's great. Like someone told me MX auto. Harshil Khamar, that's extremely good, guys. MX auto is the right thing. Okay, so as you are able to see now, the logo is on the left hand side and the links are on the right hand side. So this is also something that is very important. Usually you will have the entire thing in this way itself. So you'll have your like contact me or something like that. Then you can have your pricing. Okay, so just do pricing pricing. Then let's remove this, run this for a line of code, and it will look something like this. So you are having your shape AI, you are having your pricing, contact me, about us. So MX auto is something that is coming in the middle of the entire screen. We do not want that. We want it to be at the end of the entire screen. It is not MX auto, I guess. Like ML auto, it's not MX auto, because MX auto is exactly in the middle. We do not want it to be in the middle. We want it to be at the end. So it will be something else. Let us check MR auto. Okay, again, like we have to check every single letter, I guess. It's not MX Auto, guys, because MX Auto brings it to the middle of the entire screen. We do not want it to be in the middle. We want it to be at the end. Let us check the Bootstrap navigation. Let's try to figure out from the navigation itself. There will be something in the navigation that we are able to find. Let us check. So here they have sent the entire like search to the right hand side. So we are having the form right over here, and we are having deflex. Okay, so is it deflex that is the new thing or something like that? Let us try to find it, guys. Okay, so container, default, fixed top, fixed bottom, sticky top. No. Okay, so I'm not able to find it right now. No problem, I will just try into MX Auto, AUTO. Let us try to find auto right over here, and let us try to find auto. Let's try to find ML Auto. Okay, so there's nothing like ML UTO Auto. Let us try it MS Auto. Are you guys like, I'm also like pitchballing it because I also don't remember it absolutely correctly. According to me, it was ML Auto itself, but like it has been a lot of time, so I'm also forgetting it. Deflex and ME2. Let us try that. So Deflex, I'm also able to find from right over here itself. Like in the search bar, they have used the deflex right over here. So let us use deflex. Let us try to use that and let us see if it works. Okay, let us use deflex instead of ME Auto. I think so ME Auto has been scrapped. Okay, this is also not working. Okay, no problem, I will just try to do it. Okay, I will let you know tomorrow as well. Okay, so MS Auto you guys are saying, so let us try MS Auto. Okay, so MS Auto actually worked. So MS Auto is basically for the like putting it up to the end of the entire thing. You will have MX Auto for putting it up in the middle of the entire thing. So this is something that is very important. Okay, so again, I'm so sorry, I like literally forgot about it. Like it has been a lot of time before I use Bootstrap. Usually I work right now in React.js and Tailwind CSS. So I think so ML Auto is basically either in React Bootstrap 4 or either in the next generation of Tailwind. Okay, so great. So MS Auto is basically what it is working right now. So you have made a normal like nav bar right now. Tomorrow we'll be making an entire website using Bootstrap, an entire website in its entirety with the header, the footer, and the entire website. Okay, so let us get started with it from tomorrow. Right now I'll be showing you the Google form, forms.google.com. Next. Okay. Man, somebody changed the ID for okay, just give me a second, guys. I will have to create the entire Google form right now. Okay, no problem. Today there will be no attendance. Okay, there will be no attendance today. I'm so sorry for this. Okay, there will be no attendance today. We'll be going tomorrow and we'll be doing it. Okay, there will be no attendance today. I'm saying to you once again, I'm showing the code right now on my screen. Okay, there will be no attendance today. Currently, the full stack web development batch is going to start from the 1st of June. Okay, it is going to start from the 1st of June. And there will be like one batch for data analyst. Okay, that in training and internship, that is going to start from the 25th of May. So tomorrow is the last day to enroll for the like batch. Okay, data analyst batch. And if you guys have any questions or any problems related to the entire batch itself, you want to join the data analyst training and internship program. So it's both a training as well as an internship. No prerequisites required. You can go to our website shapeai.tech and you can check out all the different things, all the projects and everything that you are going to do in the entire training and internship program. And we provide you guys with a 10% discount as well. So if you guys want to check the entire thing out, you can go on our website and check it. If you guys have any questions or any queries, you can come to us, you can ask us, and we will help you out with that as well. Okay, so all the different things that is going to be covered and everything, the details for the internships is on our website shapeai.tech. Okay, and you guys can like approach to me right over here as well. Okay, are you going to teach in the full stack web development course? I'm one of the instructors. There are various different instructors that will be there in the entire training and internship. Okay, the entire program will be taking place on Zoom. Okay, 2 hours every single day on Zoom, and then doubt sessions for 3 to 4 hours every single day on Google Meet. Okay, so 5 days a year. The instructors are final year students. There are some of them are pass out, some of them are final year students, most of them are from different companies. We have people from Google, we have people from American Express, we have people from Goldman Sachs, we have people from Microsoft. So you can easily able to go on our website, you can easily see all the different instructors that are present there, who will be teaching you for the entire duration of the entire program. Okay, so yeah, all the different projects that you'll be doing in the entire program as well has been listed on our website. You can check that, all the different technologies that you'll be learning during the entire thing. So along with like interview preparation, GitHub and LinkedIn preparation, and all those kind of stuff will be done in the entire training and internship program. Okay, so thank you so much guys, like for the data analyst training and internship program. If you want, I can go over the entire training and internship program. Let me just go over the entire thing. So the data analyst training and internship program, again, like all the instructors will be there. There are no prerequisites for any of our programs. There are no prerequisite for any of their programs. Okay, so everything will be done. Okay, you do not have to worry about it. There are 2 to 3 complementary courses. There are 3 complementary courses that will be given to you: machine learning engineer, data analyst, and full stack web development. This will be recorded in nature and it will be given to you. Okay, it will have 14.5 months of like access to that, all the recordings that you'll be having. So all the like live classes will be